So this is the 2014 Leave Insert Ordinary Level Paper 1, and we're looking at question number 7. Part A says, Mary bought a new car for 20 grand on the 1st of July 2010. The value of the car depreciated at a compound rate of 15% each year. Find the value of the car, correct to the nearest euro, on the 1st of July 2014, so that's 4 years later. Okay, so I've taken this from the tables book, which is the depreciation method. So we have the formula here. F, the final value, or the later value, is equal to P, the initial value, times 1 minus I to the power of T. T is the time and I is the interest rate. Okay, so we can see here that P is equal to 20 grand. I is the 15%. Now we would write that as a decimal, which is divided by 100, 0.15. And T then is the time, which in our case is 4 years from 2010 to 2014, the same date. That's 4 years. So our F value, our final value, will be 20 grand multiplied by 1 minus I, which is 0.15, to the power of T, which is 4. So again, just to be clear, we're putting P value there, the I value, which is this here, and the T value, which is 4, putting that there. So there we go. Okay, so we'll put all this then into our calculator, and that gives us a final value of 10,440, and that's going to be in euro. So that's the answer, 10,440 euro. Part B says Mary wishes to buy a new car which costs 24 grand on the 1st of July 2014. Part 1 says Buy Right Car Sales offers Mary 10,500 euro for her old car. She can borrow the balance, which is the rest, for 1 year at a rate of 11.5%. How much would she repay on the 1st of July 2015? So that's 1 year later. How much would she repay? Okay, well, first of all, the car costs 24 grand, but she's getting 10 grand for her old car. So let's find the difference there. That's 14 grand. Okay, so she's going to borrow this, which is the balance. So the balance is 14 grand. She borrows that for 1 year at a rate of 11.5%. How much would she repay 1 year later? So we're going to use this method here, compound interest method. F is equal to P bracket 1 plus I to the power of T. So in this case, P, which is our principal value, is the 14 grand that she borrows. I is the interest rate, which is 11.5%, or as a decimal, that's 0.115. And T then, it's 1 year later, so T is just 1. Okay, so I've just spotted a mistake here. Mary was offered 10,500 for her old car, not 10,000. So that's going to change these values here. So if you take away 10,500, it's actually 13,500 is the principal. Okay, so F then is equal to the P value, which is 13,500, multiplied by 1 plus I, which is 0.115, to the power of T, which is 1. So again, just to be clear, the P value we sub in there to the formula, the I value, which is the decimal, gets substituted in here, and the T value, which is 1 year in our case because it's a year later, gets substituted in as the power. So when we put all of this in, then we end up with the final amount, which she has to pay a year later, is 15,052 and 50 cents. And again, that's euro. So that's how much she has to pay a year later. Part 2, Bargain Deals Car Sales offers Mary 10 grand for her old car and an interest-free loan of the balance for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, Mary would make a payment of 4 grand and would be charged interest at a compound rate of 1.5% per month for the next 6 months. How much would Mary repay on 1st of July 2015? Okay, so this is another option that she has. So this time, the car still cost 24 grand. And this time she was offered the 10 grand, which leaves her with a balance of 14 grand. Okay, so there's our balance again. Okay, now, balance is 14 grand. So this is the loan she's going to, this is how much she has to pay. Now she gets a interest-free loan on this for 6 months. At the end of that 6 months, she pays 4 grand. So no interest there. At the end of the 6 months, she pays the 4 grand. That leaves her with 10 grand left to pay. And this 10 grand then, at the end of the 6 months, she makes a payment of 4 grand and she's charged interest on the remainder at a compound rate of 1.5% per month for the next 6 months. How much would Mary repay on the 1st of July 2015? Okay, so again, we're going to use this formula here in the tables book. F is equal to P bracket 1 plus I to the power of T. And in this case, P is the 10 grand that she has left to pay. I is the interest rate, which is 1.5%. This is a monthly rate. So 1.5% is 0.015 divided by 100. And T this time, it's the number of months because the rate is monthly. So it's 6 months, so T is 6. Okay, so then that gives us F is equal to 10 grand times 1 plus I, so it's 1 plus this decimal, so it's 1.015 to the power of 6. Okay, so again, just to be clear here, P is 10 grand, it's substituted in there. I is the interest rate, which goes in there, which is this bit added on, and then T is the 6, which is the power. Okay, so when we put all this then in our calculator, we get a value of 10, 9, 3, 4, and 43 cents. So that's in euro. So that's how much has to be repaid. Okay, and finally, part 3. Which of the above options should Mary choose if she wishes to pay the least amount? Justify your answer by calculations. Okay, so we have buy right, and then we have bargain deals. These are the two options. Okay, so if you remember, buy right, the total repayment was 15,052.50. So that's 15,052.50. And bargain deals, was the 10,934.43, but plus the £4,000 that she paid after the first 6 months. So it's going to be £4,000 plus the 10,934.43. So that gives us a total of 14,934.43. Again, that's in euro. So we can see there that the best option, so these are the calculations, so the cheaper option would be bargain deals. So which of the above options? Bargain deals. Is the cheaper option. So that's the answer, and there's the justification by calculation. So that's the end of question 7.